You enter a warm room that would otherwise also be inviting, were it not for what had led you here. Constant signs of glowing green light around every corner. Sometimes it seemed to move away when you rounded those corners. Sometimes it was simply flickering in the seat of a wall sconce. Constant, unintelligible mutterings. Sometimes giggling, or stark raving mad screaming. And traps. Constant traps. This room may be warm, but its green glow is what makes it so wholly uninviting. A green glow spilling over the hearth of an elaborately carved, if dusty, fireplace and mantelpiece. The sickly colored flames flashing across motes of dust and smears of grime on nearly every surface. And treasure is supposed to be found here. Unlikely, it seems now. You walk to the hearth and take in the heat. The warmth is at least a minorly helpful reprieve from these cold, dark dungeon halls. You allow your mind to wander for a moment. Who would bother hiding something down here? Better yet, who would bother to abandon it? It does look as though it was once fit for a lord or lady or noble of some kind, anyway. Your confidence of finding anything of value have dwindled by now. But then you think, is this place abandoned? You have just as much evidence otherwise. And where are the logs to put in this fire? There seems to be hardly any fuel left. In fact, there isn't any fuel left. How is the fire still going so strong? There's no kindling or wood of any kind at the base. And what's that round object? There's something in there. Is that a skull?
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them. Hello there, creatures, and welcome to another episode of Encounter This. My name is James, the Lost Soul Kid, and with me as always is Freeman, a Puerto Calvera Ice Tin. And today, we are going to be taking a look at the incredible, the awesome, the Flameskull from the Monster Manual on page 134. I actually don't know if any of those things are true.
Yeah, I was about to say, really setting the bar high right at the beginning. They're incredible. They are awesome. They are skulls that are on fire. Can't go wrong.
I mean, they
right?
sound dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love both of those things.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? This creature, I like this creature, actually. You're not going to be a big fan of one portion, I think. But
Okay.
But it's going to generally feel reasonably familiar. It's like we've covered this creature already, but through other creatures. So we'll start with something that's already familiar. It's a very lovely 5e trope that we've come across a few times already. Flameskulls are created by dark spellcasters with a dark ritual. Imagine that. Of course, no one knows said ritual. And they are fashioned from the remains specifically of dead wizards.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Once the ritual is complete, the skull erupts in green flames with red flames within its eye sockets. But that is only reflected in the newer artwork with the red fiery eyes. Everything else is like solidly a green color. And that seems to be the thing. But for some reason, they've added fiery red into the eyes in 5e. Okay. But yeah, they even the lore itself specifies green. It doesn't even say red. They are tasked.
That's fun.
What's that?
That's fun.
Yeah. The
lore and the artwork are both wrong.
Yay! Flameskulls are tasked with the job of protection, and they will patrol an area around whatever it is they're supposed to be protecting. So, person, treasure hoard, secret entrance, etc. They follow their instructions to the letter. Thus, the commands must be well worded and precise, which is very reminiscent of the invisible stalker that I covered a little while back.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be very specific. If they become unable to perform their task, such as the person or place they are protecting is destroyed, they then become autonomous. And so they'll just start. They'll just kind of go on their own. I think they're less bound than say like a water weird would have been. But if their job or task is compromised in some way, and then they suddenly find themselves free. An invisible stalker, I think, was sort of similar. But I can't remember if they found themselves with the freedom to go back to the plane of air. I can't recall what really ended on that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
What I do recall is they desperately want to kill their master, the invisible stalker, because they hate what's happened to them. But they have to follow their tasks to the letter, but they'll try to find loopholes and ways around it. And I think that's how they return to the plane of air was via killing their master, with whom they were bound to. I think that's how it worked. I'll have to go back and listen, I guess. But yeah, these ones.
And we're not going to do that.
Yeah, no. These Flameskulls have the opportunity to be a little more autonomous, and from what I gather, hate their position much less. They don't seem to mind per se. But we'll get into that a little bit. So Flameskulls actually retain dim memories of their old lives, and sometimes can even speak in the same voice they once had. And they can recall key events of their past as well. Though in general, it seems to be that there isn't a lot of like tremendous detail within these retained memories. But most importantly, they remember the spells they knew in life, eschewing the somatic and material components typically needed, and are able to cast with nothing but verbal components. And the flames in their eyes are capable of shooting fiery rays as well. And since they are only a skull, they of course float and fly wherever they go. They're not just rolling around the halls, and they are wreathed in flame, constantly glowing. And they have some control over the darkness, but they can't snuff it out completely.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and so these creatures can regenerate after defeat, unless their remains are sprinkled with holy water, or dispel magic or remove curse are cast upon them. So these things will regenerate. In 4E, there was some more powerful version called a Greater Flameskull. I did not dig into it, to be honest. But you can see, like, actually, let's make a spot to look at the artwork, because some of it's pretty cool. In fact, I think 4E it's one of those rare moments where 4E wins the day for me on this one.
So I actually can't stop looking at the 4E art.
It's really cool.
There's a book series that I've mentioned a whole bunch on this show, the Dresden Files, and this looks exactly like the skull that was used in the live action TV show with Paul Blackthorne.
Oh yeah,
like it's exactly what you would think of when you think of like a carved skull. Like it is a real trope.
Yeah. It's got like carvings along its skull as if they were like tattoos, and it's got these gems in its eyes. It's just wreathed in flame and hideous and terrifying. And the 3E is not far off. It's pretty much more or less the same, and it's actually pretty cool as well.
I actually think the 3E is my favorite one. Because it looks like it's just like a living helmet. Like it looks like Destro's head caught on fire.
Yeah. I love the 2E art. That's as far back as they go for artwork. It's 2E, but it looks like the skull is actually like the brow can move the way it's like designed here.
Oh,
it looks like it can actually like it's got muscles.
An expression.
Yeah, it's got an expression on its face exactly. So it doesn't really add up. But
I love all this artwork.
I don't really like 5Es. To me it looks like, I mean, it's not that it's bad, but it just reminds me of like the really lame early CG like wallpaper shit you would find when you first had your first internet and first computer, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I hear you. It almost looks exactly like the Nick Cage Ghost Rider. If it was
Yeah, just as bad. But I mean, it's not that it's bad, but it's just it doesn't fit, you know, especially the rest of 5e artwork. Like, it does not fit when you stand it up side by side to others.
yeah.
However,
very true.
there is an awesome picture there that is very recent. There is an Adventures in the Forgotten Realms crossover with Magic the Gathering this past summer. And that image there is from that. And it's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. Is that from the Odysseys of Theros? Or
No,
the,
this is not a D&D book. It was an expansion for Magic the Gathering using Forgotten Realms based stuff. So it was like one of their newer, bigger events. Yeah.
So this is like an actual Magic card then?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Now the image, it's a little bit deceptive, I think, because it kind of makes the skull look like it's very large until you look just behind it and you see a bucket and an anvil and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, it's like by comparison, it's about as big as it should be.
Fair. So it is an actual Magic card. It's a red. It costs 3 mana. It has flying and can't block.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's a 3/1.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, these creatures were supposedly, now we've dipped into we're dipping here into outside of 5e lore, actually. So 4e, there's a book called The Lost Empires of Faerun from 3.5e, and Monstrous Compendium Annual Volume 1, which I believe was a 2e. And so there was some specificity in these books for the requirements of the creature, such as it had to be humanoid skull only. That's not reflected in 5e. Created by wizards or clerics using the create undead ritual / spell, though the precise rites used are long forgotten and lost. So somewhat represented in 5e. And then the creator could supposedly choose whether or not they could cast additional spells other than what they knew in life. And it was also possible that they supposedly needed permission to cast at all. And cast from their mouths. Yeah, the Flameskulls had needed permission from their creator to be able to cast.
I like that.
Yeah. And there was also mention of them originally being limited to verbal component spells only. Though in 5e, it's just like, you know, you're basically just wiping away those requirements and giving them a wider variety. And they also had the ability to shoot fire from their mouths in a 20-foot line. And if necessary, could bite. And
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So those are not in 5e. They just have the fiery rays and their spells, as we'll see in the stat block. But they were supposed to be harder to turn by clerics with turn undead as well. And my guess would maybe be because they're likely created by a cleric, something like that. But I didn't find any specificity on that.
Okay.
Now, Flameskulls with Mage Hand would use the cantrip to open and close doors, activate, reset traps, etc. And they would not just get into attacking and casting spells, but they would also cause confusion, create danger while actively avoiding direct combat. And they were supposed to retain their very high intelligence, but often were left alone for centuries on end, thus causing them to go insane and behave strangely and erratically. They could even they could also have lost lore or knowledge thanks to their longevity, so such as maintaining those snippets of significant events in their past. And they would seek entertainment from anything around them, and thus, if quote unquote set free, they would have no personal purpose in undeath, but they do not necessarily seek release. Instead, they would seek companionship and possibly accompany those who release them from their duty in gratitude. very, very rarely Flameskulls could be found gathered in small groups, actually, after being freed of their task, of course. So if they found themselves free but found no one to follow, then they might gather.
That's cool. I love the idea of like a Flameskull as like a divine companion for a paladin or something like that. Like,
right, but has completely lost their mind.
Yeah,
and like
just
not even
wildly crazy.
And not even, it's like you have this creature of undeath who would likely be, its existence could theoretically be anathema to a divine player of some kind. But then, once it's freed from its task and it doesn't really seem to mind its own undeath, it just follows you around like a companion, although you don't want it to be there.
Right.
It's just like, would you please just go away?
Just attaches itself to the party.
Yeah, that's what I want to play it as. I love the idea of like anyone's like, I'm 800 years old and I remember all these things, I think.
Imagine going back to town trying to explain how you picked up a stray and it's a flaming skull to like the innkeeper. Like,
yeah.
Like, I can't tell him what to do, I promise.
Yeah. And there's nothing to say that their regeneration is removed via like being released from their task. So, I love the idea of like you basically have this permanent talking dancing light spell that can shoot spells and fiery rays and constantly light the way for you. And if it gets destroyed, a little while later it comes back.
Completely unpredictable.
Yeah. So a lot of those little tidbits are not provided in 5e, which I found quite sad. Per usual, I love some of the older stuff just to tag on top. It just flavor stuff, None of that really needing
real good.
Mechanical changes. It's just funny. Good way to really annoy your party in a fun way.
Yeah, give them a fun accent, like from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they call me Flamey.
I'm flaming here.
Hey, I'm flaming here. It's so dumb.
I know.
Well, that's pretty much it for lore. I've got a couple honorable mentions that have a bit to do with lore, I guess. But there was supposed to be a group of 9 priests of Mistra, I believe it's called, that once transformed themselves into Flameskulls, seeking immortality. So they were kind of looking for a lich-like state, and they were only partially successful. Ended up becoming a group of Flameskulls, and they were known as the Circle of Skulls in Waterdeep and haunted Farah's Alley in the Sea Ward.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then there were the Skulls of Skullport as well, which is what my nickname is in Spanish. Puerto Calavera, Skullport. It's a city far beneath Waterdeep, essentially. And it was considered... the Skulls of Skullport were considered to be advanced Flameskulls that could absorb mages into their mantle and create true Flameskulls out of them, making them serve as their vassals. So, I mean, I didn't find any pictures of these guys, but I love the idea of them, like, they're not just a floating skull, they actually have, like a cloak attached to where a neck should be.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's the second time Skullport's come up recently. Maybe we should dig into that book. I think we talked about it in Dark Mantle as well.
Oh, did we? Oh, yeah, that does ring a bell, actually. And I lied. There is a picture here and it doesn't show a mantle of any kind. It's a really old looking style picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it looks massive over this like harbor, this underground.
Yeah, it
harbor.
looks like it's just been photoshopped on.
It does a bit, yeah. Like they drew the harbor and they're like, oh, we should add something there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I love the idea of them like floating around with this like cape and like a big collar, a big like pointy collar around their head, their flaming head, and then somehow they absorb other mages into this mantle, and they come out as Flameskulls.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really enjoying this lore so far. It's been real quality stuff.
Yeah. And then other than that, like I don't really have any other honorable mentions. I mean, we talked off mic a bit. You mentioned Ghost Rider and Scorpion, but I didn't feel like they were they were like exact, because these things are very specifically disembodied, where those guys just happen to have skulls with flames, and it's kind of aesthetically the same, but it's not really the same. There's nothing really connecting there.
Yeah, the Lost Soul from Doom, I think, is probably the closest we're going to get, because it is a disembodied flaming skull,
right?
That is designed to protect locations and just flies at you and explodes.
Yeah, which I think is like, honestly, it's just that's probably one of the earliest examples of a video game trope, because I feel like I can't even think of one, but I'm quite sure I've encountered exactly that in many video games. It's like a skull that floats and flies at you and explodes and it's on fire. And it's just
probably
it's something that
like
just
Fable or something.
Yeah, it's just reused a lot and it works well as a minor enemy.
Yeah,
I was glad that you remembered the Lost Soul specifically. I wouldn't have even thought of the Doom one or what it was even called. So
yeah, so that's probably where it originates from. I mean, it's probably based off of Gygax's D&D creature, because a lot of the Doom creatures are reminiscent of D&D.
Yeah.
But this would have been the first time it would have been seen in video games, because I think Doom was like the second ever first-person shooter.
Right. It was Wolfenstein, the first one?
I think it was by Bungie. I think it's called Marathon Man. I believe that's the first one, and then Doom, and then Wolfenstein was a close second, I think.
Cool.
Doom was certainly the first one to hit big.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. Not a lot, but it is flavorful. It's good stuff.
I like it. I'm really happy with that lore. Like, I wish, like you said, more of it was in 5e, but I think that was great. Yeah,
the 5e stuff just felt kind of tropish. And then the additional stuff from the previous editions like really added some flavor for me, especially the longevity and the insanity and the willingness to follow those who release them from their duty. I just love that. Good way to have fun with a pseudo NPC that can still help in combat.
Well, yeah, you're right. They were incredible. That's a lot of good lore, and we are missing a lot of good stuff from 5e. I specifically like the stuff about the spell casting and the dark ritual. Because one of our dark rituals is cracking a can of delicious Strangefellows Blackmail Stout right around this time.
Ain't it, though? Ain't it dark and ritualistic? I mean, it's certainly ritualistic. And it's dark beer. Yeah. Oh, boy. What a segue. What a pun.
I promised they were going to get worse than this episode, so here we are.
Have you guessed yet what I claimed might be your least favorite, or the thing you won't like about these creatures?
I almost know 100% what it is, and it's the spell casting.
Yeah.
There's also a little subtle thing you brought up that I really want in there that I don't think is going to be in there, and that's going to really upset me to a degree as well. And that is, I want them to have a really high will save, so it is actually harder for the clerics to turn them via turn undead.
Oh, okay. I like where you're going with that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, let's take a boo here. Flameskull. See our guess?
I want them to be small, actually. So, like, I would say like 2 or 3. That's kind of the sweet spot where I think I'd want to have them.
Well, there are 4.
I mean, that's what I'd throw at a party of level 2 or 3, so that feels right.
Yeah. CR4, HP of 40, 0 regular speed, 40-foot fly speed. AC 13, very easy to hit.
What the fuck makes them a CR4? These are a CR1/2 on the book so far.
They're tiny in size, undead and neutral evil.
So why the fuck is their AC so low? What are you doing to me, wizards?
And according to 5e, they speak Common, although in previous editions they did specify that they could speak languages they knew in life. 5e does not specify that.
I mean, we kind of touched on that Common is common based on the location. So.
For sure, yep. But I mean, they're also meant to retain their high intelligence and some of their memories, as well as their spells. So I don't see why they couldn't know more than one language at the very least. But you're not wrong to make that point. You know, if they're coming from a certain place that another language is common, that's just common. They do have a good number of resistances and immunities here for a CR4. So they're resistant to lightning, necrotic, and piercing. Straight up immune to cold, fire, and poison.
Okay.
And then charmed, frightened, paralyzed, and poison, which are all pretty standard for undead, generally.
Don't care for that. Do not care for that.
Given the high intelligence thing, it's hard to be happy with the frightened and the charmed on my end on that one, I think. But
the charm specifically really bugs the shit out of me because how did they get they got themselves into this via a fucking ritual
Well, generally speaking, they didn't have a choice. There was that one example where they did it to themselves, but usually the wizard's been dead and someone does it to them. There's not a lot of consent happening here.
Okay, so that what I recant. I think because it's been done to them, maybe they can't be charmed because if their host or if their creator is still living, they're charmed by them. So all right.
You can kind of finagle your way around it, yeah.
Yeah, I've turned a corner. Yeah. I don't love it, but it is what it is.
Sure. They do have dark vision 60 feet. Low passive perception at 12. They've been
does not bode well for that high wisdom that I want.
No, they don't have any bonuses to their saves, or even skill checks of any kind. So you are disappointed there, I'm sure. They only have 1 strength, so they're very weak, but they have 17 dex, 14 con.
That is sorry, is that a base of 1 or a modifier of 1?
That's a base of 1. It's a modifier of -5.
Fuck. Yeah. That's insane.
They're just a floating skull. They can't do anything.
Didn't we talk about them having a bite attack earlier?
Not in 5e. That's the problem.
Oh.
It's just maybe why they chose not to give it a bite attack. With that, I don't know, because they so desperately wanted to give it 1 strength at a -5.
I guess, yeah.
But I mean, +3 to their dex, +2 to con, +3 to intelligence, like a 16 intelligence, and then
that's all right.
And a 10 and 11 wisdom and charisma, respectively.
Crawford, slide into my DMs so we can talk about this. That's not right. You done goofed here, bud.
Done goofed. I love that the intelligence is like properly high though, like given its CR.
Yeah. But there's no reason the wisdom couldn't, be a 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't see why not. There's a part of me that makes me think like, oh, if they're bound to a task, but then they're freed of that task, maybe they have more freedom to be wise, if that makes sense. Like, it's unwise to just like stick to something no matter what, but they don't really have a choice. Maybe that affects their ability to like, instinctually even just defend themselves or be willful against something because they're stuck there doing this one thing and they have to do it no matter what they want. But once they're free of that and they can now do what they want, maybe that stat can increase suddenly as a result of part of this ritual now being extinguished, if that makes sense.
I'm totally cool with that. I really only want a bonus to their will saves or their wisdom saves because of their them being hard to turn.
Right.
And I like that thematically. I think that's so cool. They are so driven to do their task that it is harder for a cleric to push them away through the strength of their belief.
Right.
That is such a cool fucking moment when, the zombies or the ghouls around them start to flee and this Flameskull just fucking powers through.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the idea of, it's really easy to just like add that in too, right? You can just go to what's the average proficiency at that level for a player, for like a wizard, and which would be 2 at level 4, and you give them that on top of their wisdom saving throws, or give them double proficiency if you wanted to, by all means.
Yeah, I'd just give them a flat +4. That would be okay by me.
Yeah,
even if it's just a +4 to turn undead and not any other wisdom saves, I'd be fucking cool with that.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe it's in the abilities. Let's dig in. I don't know why I'm focusing on this one weird, obscure piece of lore, but it's the one that I like the most. So I'm going to keep harping on it throughout while we go through this creature.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
I'm okay with that.
I've found the bone that I'm going to pick.
Yeah. And again, that bit of lore is not from 5e that you're focusing on.
Yeah, I know.
Per usual. So abilities, they're undead. No food, drink, air, or sleep needed. They have illumination. They can shed 15 feet of dim light, or 15 feet of bright, and additional 15 of dim. So
that's fun.
Yeah, so they could go nearly torch amount, or bring it down, but they can't snuff it out. They have magic resistance, advantage on spells, saving throws against spells and magic-related abilities.
There it is.
Yeah,
there's why the CR is so high.
So they're automatically immune to 3 different types of damage, resist to 3 other types of damage, and advantage on those saving throws. Yeah, they're very defensive given how low their AC is and their HP.
Yeah.
The rejuvenation. So they'll actually regain their full HP after 1 hour after being defeated, unless sprinkled with holy water or that dispel magic or remove curse or cast on them. So they can pop up again pretty quickly.
That is really quick.
Yeah. So they are not. They're not the type of.
I mean, I guess they're only regenerating 40 HP. That's less than 1 a minute. So all right. I feel you.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like pretty easy to think, oh, you've destroyed it. Moving on, if you didn't do the right check or stop and think about it for a little bit longer. Like you have no real reason when you encounter one of these to think it'll come back. You have no reason at all, especially if you don't do a well on a knowledge check.
Or if you do a knowledge check at all.
Right.
My party, my players seem to hate knowledge checks.
It doesn't help that in our current game, I basically refuse to do any checks on anything magical.
Yeah.
If it's history or something, I'll try, but I'm no good at it. I just won't do magic ones.
It's real fun.
Yeah. He's just a swashbuckler from the sea. He doesn't know anything about that fuddy-duddy arcane. I love Dougal. Yeah, so rejuvenation, that's good. And then, of course, the spell casting. That's what we've got. They are 5th level spellcasters. And intelligence being their main stat, of course. DC 13 for their spells. And a +5 to hit. Their spell slots don't quite match the same amount as the wizard class, which is what I was kind of hoping would use as a good mirror, since they're coming from wizards and supposed to know the spells they knew in life, right? So, but they basically have cantrip, single cantrip. They got 2 first level spells with 3 slots, 2 second level spells with 2 slots, and 1 third level spell with 1 slot. Whereas a 5th level wizard would have 4, 3, and 2 for spell slots. So they're all minus by 1, essentially. Maybe that's on purpose.
I have less of an issue with this creature now. I did not at any point foresee them taking shield, but shield is a huge spell for some creature like this. Like, as a reaction, your AC is just 18 against an attack. That's fucking all right.
Yeah. So that's just it. What they have is Mage Hand. They have Magic Missile and Shield for their first levels. Blur, which is also super defensive, and Flaming Sphere, which can be very deadly. That effectively gives them a constant use of a bonus action if they maintain their concentration. And it can be very deadly. And then they have Fireball, which is famously deadly at lower levels because it's available too early for some certain creature stat blocks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're potent in a weird fashion, And
I like it. I wish it wasn't spells, but like Fireball is huge. It's 8d6.
Big. Wow. A level 4 party, like, man. And I always imagine these things I imagine most fights in tighter quarters, but like these things are meant to guard something, likely to be a treasure hoard or something like that, which is probably not going to be in some wide open space,
Oh yeah. And it could just set the fireball off on itself, like it's straight up immune to
it. Right. Just get in there and blow up. That's a good point. I never thought of that. Oh man. The only thing they have on top of that is their Fiery Ray, which they do have multi-attack for, so they can use it twice. And it's a +5 to hit with a 3d6 fire. So it's packing a punch.
Is that mechanically the same as Firebolt? Do you know?
I do not know.
It is not. Firebolt is a D10 and it is a cantrip. So stacking it even wouldn't be that high. But that's all right. 3d6 is... I mean, I guess 66 at the end of the day is no slouch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. seriously. And a +5 to hits is decent at that level, if not amazing.
I don't care for that. I mean, yeah, the +5 is great, but the DC is fucking hot garbage.
Oh, the
like
DC 's so
13
low.
reflex save, like go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too: is that of its stats, the highest is Dex, all right? But it's both Dex and Int at a +3. It's super justifiable to just bump that intelligence by 2 more points to get a +4, and then immediately your DC is going up, your chance to hit's going up. And if you're following like the sort of static rules or whatever, right?
And that would make the DC 15 and the to hit +7, which is huge at that level. I think that's where my issue is, that it's, a flat 10 as opposed to 10 plus your proficiency bonus. Like, even if the DC was 15, I'd be fucking thrilled.
Yeah. Just bumping those numbers up just by 1 or something like that might give you something to work with. At least the DC.
Oh, it would change the game.
So, I mean, I've never run these guys, and I'm genuinely curious at this point, I guess, like how quickly they might be dispatched. It really depends on party build, I guess.
I think it would also really depend on the terrain and the rolls. Like, I don't often think 5e comes down to the rolls. Like, it can sometimes, but I don't think that's often the case. But one of these against a level 3 party, realistically, I'm not going to throw this against a level 4 party on its own. Yeah. But against the level 3 party, I think we're looking at a 50-50, death spiral or kill.
Could be, yeah. Really depends on that fireball and that flaming sphere, I think. Just how quickly damage can be dealt out at the beginning. And what direction do you go in? Like, do you take this thing defensively to start and then start throwing damage out, or do you attack first and then try to defend? If you attack first and then don't land the damage you were hoping for, and you hadn't had a chance to defend yourself, well, then it's very likely the party's going to start cracking at you pretty quick. Low AC, low HP.
Well, you still got that reaction shield, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
You come in, you drop a fireball at the door, and you come in with blur active. Like, you don't cast a blur in the combat. You do some stealth checks for the party, and one of them fails because one of them always does. Yeah, you throw a blur on this creature.
Yeah.
And then you drop in a fireball, and then you move into the flaming sphere and cast shield when you get hit. Try and separate the party at the door. Like, you got some really, really good options here.
Kill a whole party with something they can just hold in one hand. I love it. It's so small.
Yeah, it's about the size of a hacky sack.
Yeah. Not quite that small.
Well, not maybe according to this last image. Oh, is it? Okay.
It's a skull. It's a human skull, right?
Is it? Okay, sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I see this artwork, and it's like really, like the one with the bucket in the background, like that doesn't.
The perspective on that from the magic card, it's really fucks with you a bit.
Though the art is fucking gorgeous.
It is really cool. Yeah. Just having a little bit of a few issues with the scaling is all.
Yeah, fair enough. I like it. I'm actually pretty happy with this creature overall. But you've had some time to think on it. What would you do? How would you? I mean, if you were to ever run 5e again,
I think this creature is probably one of the easiest ones to alter without really, I don't feel like it needs to be altered too much, if at all. And I think there's a lot of side grade alterations you can do. So, just adding languages known in life. I've already said that. That's something I would do, according to whatever story I might be telling at the time. And then I would just aesthetically, I would just change the eyes to green. It just kind of bugs me that there's 2 different colors. I don't know why. But I like the idea of giving these Flameskulls different colors in general, though, and just sort of changing them accordingly. So kind of picking and choosing through different elements. So why not a blue one for cold damage, a purple one for lightning or something like that, and then adjusting their DR and DI and the weaknesses and stuff, adding weaknesses perhaps accordingly. That's stuff that's really, I think, probably easily done. And then I do think it's also very flexible for scaling it up if you want. So such as those numbers we talked about, but then you can also just easily look into, say, the wizard section in the player's handbook, and you can see that they have the same spell levels, but slots -1, so you can just up accordingly from that 5th level's caster to 6th, 7th, 8th, and then follow a similar trend, and then pick new spells. It's all about the spells they do in life, so you have lots of flexibility there. You can customize something here. You can even play with the fact that whoever created them taught them a spell if you wanted, and so there's a lot of malleability, I think, with this creature for the thematic changes and choices. But other than that, the only thing I really, 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 really love overall is the idea of a mad, insane skull joining the party and following them around.
Yeah.
I know that's not a homebrew so much as exactly what I would do with it, unless they completely destroyed it. And I would just make them so annoying.
That's fair. You do have this incredible ability to do that with your NPCs.
What, make them annoying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It really is a special gift. Yeah.
So where are we going now? Shut up, Flamey.
I like the idea of a palette swap, though. I think that's really cool, especially considering we just briefly touched on Scorpion for Mortal Kombat. Palette swap it to green and it's acid damage. Palette swap it to purple and it's water.
Right.
Blue and it's ice. Mm-hmm. Red is whatever Ermac is.
Right, and they don't have to be in flames. I love the idea of a skull that's just it looks like it's crystallized. And there's big chunks of ice on the back of its head, or there's just crackling lightning all around. Or if it's if you go thunder, it's just constantly vibrating or something, and this sonic vibration at all times. I love those little ideas.
Yeah, it's so easy to be a little bit of work, but this is I've never run one. I think I'm gonna try now. Again, this has been one of those creatures that I've had prepared, but it's never come up.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know if I would actually change anything. Okay, sorry. I would just fucking ignore the level 1 spell slots. Just make magic missile and a shield a cantrip for all intents and purposes.
Right. Just let them be able to use them.
Yeah, fuck that. And then that would be about it, I think. Mm-hmm. My advice to you as a DM is to come into a combat like this with a plan. Because this will go one of two ways, and very quickly, I think, in either direction. This isn't going to be a long, drawn-out standoff. So I would recommend, having Blur precast, doing those stealth checks, doing those perception checks.
Yeah.
And then coming in and it's okay, this is the room it's in. It knows this room. It knows exactly every nook and every cranny. It knows it can hide in the corner. It knows it can swoop down from above the rafters. It knows the entrances. It knows the exits. It knows its purpose in life without a doubt. Because
have it hide in the fireplace. Because it can't.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Light out, but it can. People see the fire going. They walk into a room. They're not going to go investigate the fireplace right away. They might go, "Oh shit, someone's here," but they don't know it's the fire itself.
Yeah,
and that's because that Flameskull knows that room. It knows the perfect spot to sit in. It knows its own disadvantages and knows how to trick somebody.
Yeah, and it has the intelligence. Yeah, and it has the intelligence to reflect that as well. So don't hesitate to. Have a plan.
Even at level 3 or 4, it's likely smarter than your rogue,
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, maybe make it immune to turn undead. I don't see why it couldn't be.
Yeah, I don't see why not either, yeah.
I also don't know if I'd ever run these as single creatures. I love the idea of 2 Flameskulls in tandem, but that's probably just because I've played so much Doom. Yeah. That I can't even begin to clock the hours because the Lost Souls always come at you in pairs. There's always 2. There's always one on the right, one on the left, and one of them always flies out first, and you got to pick which one is coming at you first because it's going to take away 10% of your health.
I would say also come prepared, not just with those mechanical ideas, but come prepared with the possibility of this thing actually being set free and joining the party. And you don't have to make them annoying like I would, but it would be really cool to like have them be there and helping and whatnot and be useful and like use them as a vehicle to provide key pieces of information such as history in the adventure when these when your party is like venturing forth. One of the hardest things I always find as a DM is how do I get the background information to the players in an organic way? And we're playing with something in Pathfinder 2nd edition right now on our new podcast with the research system that's there, and that's been a really helpful vehicle for that. But then you could have this creature following along, and say they go into a new building, a new dungeon, and this creature happened to have once lived there. Maybe that's what the wizard originally was and did their work. And as soon as they step into a room, they suddenly have the flashback of what this room was used for and why things are in this way, and then have the flame skull be disappointed that it's now in disarray or disuse or something like that, and really like just use that as a vehicle to provide cool story information that you've probably written but don't know how to get out there. And even then you could provide this awesome thing where like maybe he's a little bit annoying but also a bit endearing, and the players become a little attached to them, but like also kind of don't really want them on forever. But then maybe you find like a flame skull hippie commune of ones that have gathered, and you can have the players part ways as they join a group like themselves, something like that.
Yeah, I mean you're pretty much describing Bob from the Dresden Files. Like he's a very helpful. Well, he's a relatively helpful air elemental trapped inside of this ornate skull.
Right.
And he'll like often float around and go out to like strip clubs and stuff, and like Harry's gonna track him down, and that's a plot point. Like,
hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun. Like maybe you've got a necromancer in your party, and their familiar becomes the flame skull, and that's it's not them storing spells in the flame skull; it's the flame skull remembering the spells and teaching them to the wizard.
Right. Like. Yeah, I mean, there's lots to play with there for such a reasonably simple creature. I think there's a lot to play with and flavor wise, and I think it's really fun. I think it's a really cool.
I'd also immediately add it to your random encounter table after the party dispatches it. Like as soon as it's been dispatched, immediately add it to your random encounter table.
Yeah, for sure. And then like also, it's good to point out too that for those who do play heavy with alignment, like be flexible with that alignment as well. It's neutral evil, but I imagine it's neutral evil because of its bound duty, not necessarily because of its own personality. So if they're freed from their bound duty, then perhaps that changes, and make sure you consider that, because some people really like to stick true and close to alignment and how it works. Some people like to play fast and loose. But I think it's important that if they do get free, there ought to be a shift of some kind.
If you want. You could also, it'd be really cool if, all of a sudden Neverwinter has a deputy flame skull. That'd be a fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun left turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I actually don't hate the spell slots or the spells in this creature. It's simple enough that it's easy enough to run, and I already know exactly how I would run it. Like, flame spear, blur, flame, fireball, flame sphere, and then shield. Mm-hmm. And then everything else would just be the fire ray. Like, there's no reason I would ever cast magic missile if I can get off 6d6 in one turn. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. I also like the idea of having a couple of these in a fight. It's, to me, I get a slight vibe of other than the bound to a duty piece. I get the slight vibe of what we talked about with the Spawn of Q's, where it's like, yeah, this is not a one person. They're one creature fight. This is like when they're a bit higher level and they're encountering a swarm of them or something, and like maybe they encounter one early on and realize how dangerous it is, and then suddenly you're out there and you find that hippie commune of flame skulls, and they're like, fuck, like this is not good. This is not good. There's going to be a lot of magic, and maybe have them all different colors. Maybe they have them all different spell lists and stuff like that. And like they might as well have just walked into some undead wizard camp and have the fear. Heck, make one of them a necromancer. That'd be super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, The world's your oyster. Like maybe it's the flame skull of Mordenkainen if you're feeling like super crazy, or one of the other wizards whose names I'm all gapping on right now. The Council of 12 or something like that. Council of 7.
I have no idea.
Melf, Mordenkainen, Tasha,
Tensor,
Big B, and
Big B,
somebody else, I think. Anyway, not bad for off the cuff. We got there. we got most of the way there.
I added 1 to the list.
Yeah, play with it. The flame skull discovers its humanity and all of a sudden wants to. I don't know. Maybe that's your PC. Like it's a messed up version of the simulacrum spell or something like that. And
right.
Like your PC, when they die, they become the flame skull and they just take that over. That'd be kind of cool.
Be awesome. Then that flame skull just like scales as you level up.
Yeah,
that would be so fun. Actually,
you just play a flame skull.
Yeah.
You've got 13 AC. Period. End of story.
Like that would only rise if you put points into Dex, essentially.
Con, I think, but yeah.
You'd go Con. Well, Con's HP, right? Like, I mean, they've got a +3 Dex, and their AC is 13. It's 10 plus Dex, right?
Yeah. So when you hit 5th level, you put a couple of points into Dex, then the AC goes up.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you need to learn Mage Armor or live and breathe that shield spell.
Right, yeah. And then you can learn new spells, you're getting more spell slots, but you can't wear anything, you can't carry anything, you can't open a door on your own unless you're using Mage Hand. Like actually it's a fucking great idea. I love that. It would be again with the scalability of this creature, that would be easy to make happen. Because they are basically just a modified wizard in a way.
Yeah, and instead of other cantrips, they only get Mage Hand in this Fire Ray, and that's it. Those are their two cantrips.
Yep,
that's it.
That's it. I would if the wizard died, I would make this mysterious ritual available to the cleric really fast. Especially if it's an evil cleric. Not any cleric's going to do it. Create undead, raise the old compatriot up, and just have fun with it. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
This is these are moments where the only time I've had a character die was through a forced storytelling moment, and I love those.
Yeah.
This is what I want to arrange with James when we're playing. I want to make a wizard and have this happen. We just plan it behind the scenes so that everybody can be surprised.
I'm 100% here for that.
That'd be awesome. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, that's it for me, man.
Me too.
I like it. I like the creature. I like your homebrew ideas. I love the idea of this Scrappy Doo-esque flame skull just following the party around that everybody hates.
Yeah. Yeah. So you say we shouldn't light the forest on fire?
Was that your Scrappy Doo?
No, it's just a random voice. I was trying to make annoying.
Okay.
I don't do impressions.
Smart.
Only fucked up simulacrums over here.
All right. So what about you listeners? What do you think? Are you guys fans of the Flameskulls? Do you have good stories about Flameskulls? Do you have good stories about party people becoming other creatures through the resurrection spell?
Flame Skull, I like to party.
Yeah, loves to party. You can get in touch with us on any social media platform. On Twitter and Facebook, we are at EncounterPod. On Instagram, we are encounter.pod. If you want to check out any of our back episodes, like the Dark Mantle, where I think we reference Skullport, you can find all that stuff at encounterthis.ca or your podcatcher of choice. If you feel like supporting us to do this silly show in the new year, you can find us on patreon.com/encounterpod. $1 a month gets you access to our private Discord, where you can get at us with... I guess it can really only be critiques because this was a perfect episode on my mind. For $5 a month, you can get a handwritten thank you letter, and you get access to the show notes, the documents where we produce these. We'll give you a little extra behind-the-scenes look. For $10 a month, you can suggest a creature. So if you want to see us do... I don't even know what we mentioned in this one. Scrappy-Doo, I guess. I feel like there's probably a Scooby-Doo TTRPG out there.
Yeah, maybe.
Or, you want to see us cover some of those player character villains from D&D, like the Necromancer, the Abjurist, or the Assassin, or something like that. Like, we'd be happy to do it. We'll cover Chewbacca. We'll cover whatever you want, as long as it has a stat block and it is playable in a TTRPG. Oh, we can do Bob the Skull from the Dresden Files. I'm sure he's in there.
Yeah.
And if you liked it, please give us a rate and review on the iTunes. I'm told that it helps with our metrics, though I don't know what the metrics are or how it could possibly help, because you people are fantastic, and we appreciate your time and that you listened, because I wouldn't.
James has said many times before he would not listen to this.
I can make a better show than this.
He's like an actor that doesn't watch his own movies.
Bringing it right back to Nick Cage, I think.
Yeah.
But you guys are the lifeblood of the show. You are the reason that we record it. I mean, we'd just be having these stupid conversations with ourselves without you. But it's so nice that we have found a listening audience that seems to appreciate what we do. So thank you so much for that, for your time, and for your patience with us. And I guess at this point, we will catch you in 2022. We are entering a new year.
No, this one is in 2022, isn't it? Yours is the last one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're recording this right before the 20s of December.
Yeah.
So
it's recorded in 2021, but it will see you in 2022.
Just punch that in. All right, and we will see you, or you'll hear from us again in 2 weeks.
You're kind of not wrong. This is the perfect episode because we had a lot of positive things to say, some cool ideas, and we kept it under an hour somehow.
Just barely. Just barely. Just that big old meatloaf break in the middle.